You're listening to the Straight to Video podcast with Rob Lane.
What's going on? It's been a while, right? But I'm happy you're here for another episode of my Straight to Video podcast. I have been busy, hence why there hasn't been an episode for a while. I did get to go out on a tour for a couple of weeks, selling merch for the legend that is Michael Monroe on a co-headline tour with Buck Cherry all across the UK. I was surrounded by the coolest of cool people both in the bands and crew, and super thankful to everyone who made me so welcome, and hopefully I can get to do that again soon. Right after that, we had a visit from Star Wars actress Femi Taylor to our 80s video shop, which was a super fun day, followed by a couple of shows up in Scotland with the Poison tribute band, which I do. And then I took a week off visiting family in the USA, which was really nice. Since getting back, we had our Ghostbusters day at the video shop with Anthony and Claire Bueno from the Cleaning Up the Town documentary, who were amazing, so look out for a podcast chat with those two real soon. And I've also been working on a brand new straight-to-video movie soundtrack tune as well, which I'm excited to share in the coming months, so stay tuned for that. So yeah, it's been a little busy, so not complaining, but I'm sorry it's taken so long to get a new episode out to you. Today's guest, I first met way back in 2007 when I first toured with Bullet Boys. The Gyspy Pistoleros were the opening band on the Faster Pussycat, Bullet Boys and Enough's Enough UK and European tour. We spent a couple of weeks together touring up and down the UK and then heading to play shows all over Norway, Italy, Switzerland and Spain. The Pistoleros were a ragtag, down and dirty rock and roll band that lived and breathed the lifestyle. Often a little too much, as today's guest lead vocalist and mainstay of the band, Lee Mark Jones, will testify. Lee, though, is a lifer and will always find a way to rock a stage and continues to do so almost 2 decades later. The band have a brand new album, Dark Fairy Tales, which has just been released and are currently on tour throughout May and beyond in the UK. If you want to check out the new album and catch them on tour, then visit gyspypistoleros.com. But right now, have a listen to me checking in with my old mate on the Straight to Video podcast, Mr. Lee Mark Jones.
How you doing, Rob? You all right?
I'm good, mate. Looking fantastic. How's things?
Oh, God, knackered. We just finished the first few dates, but those were the big ones, so we're all right.
How did they go? Everything all right?
Great, yeah, we did I think 160 odd in Underworld.
Oh, brilliant, mate.
And then back home, we sold out. So I think they said there was about 180 there, but there was more.
Mate, that's great going these days. Anything over 50 or 60 is like, I'll take it.
I know. But then we went to Wales and I think we played to about 40.
Highs and lows, mate. You know that more than anybody.
Oh, God, I know. How are you anyway, Doody?
I'm good, mate. We don't see enough of each other.
Dude, yeah.
I see more of Shane than I do of you.
I know. Well, I'm not really boring now. Now I don't drink. I mean, like 6 years now.
That's great, though, man. Congrats.
But now I've tried to do it properly. We keep getting ignored by all the festival owners and everything. When I was the maniac, freaking alcoholic freak, we used to get on everything.
You just book you just to see what had happened. They're actually really good now. They sound really tight and polished.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, not interested. He goes, "What's you want for your ride?" I go, like, coffee.
Amazing. So yeah, new Gyspy Pistoleros album, Dark Fairy Tales, has just been released with a new single and video, King of Almost Everything.
Yes.
Once again, you're working with the main man, producer Dave Draper.
Oh, yeah.
How is your working relationship with Dave, and how has it developed over the course of various albums you've done together? Are you like a well-oiled machine these days?
It's like Dave lets me sing on his songs now.
Well, I've worked with Dave a few times. I know how he works.
Yeah. We need to fill something in there. Yeah, it needs to be 3 lines. Yeah, off the top of my head, I'll do that and go.
But how much fun is it to work with somebody with a brain like that? They can take the tiniest thing and just run with it.
Well, he orchestrates it as he goes along and changes the songs, changes structures, changes everything. I mean, he is a little genius. I can't believe that he isn't, like, one of the world's greats. acknowledged as. I mean, it's probably because he won't ever move out of Persia and I have to come to him, whoever you are. But no, he's a genius. And it's like lovely to co-write with him because we go in with our songs and he just rips them apart. And that was it. But that's what we decided.
Well, that's what a producer does as well, though. It's like, it depends what kind of relationship you want with the producer.
Yeah, but you'll love this, Lane. When we first, Kezia knows my bass player, Kerry White, said to him, Dave, I'm in Gypsies now. Would you produce us? And he went, I don't work with no fucking cock rock bands. We had to prove that we weren't a cock rock band anymore.
Hey, I tell you something, Dave Draper's melodies work fine in cock rock songs. So he needs to own up.
Yeah, but we've had a great fun. I mean, this album was fantastic, but the next one we've already got in the can, and that is the one I'm most excited about. If it was the last album I ever did, the next one is the one that I'm so pleased with. It's done. We go everywhere this time. We go from the Ministry to bloody Never Ending Story almost. There's some real ultra foxy songs to like some goth ones to like out Offspring type style. It's just gone a little bit mental, which is lovely because we decided when we first started, working together that there were no rules. Whatever a song needed, it got, which is lovely because you just don't know where you're going sometimes.
What format are your songs in when you bring them to him? Does he like to hear them in early stages or you just present a riff and you build it in the studio? How does it work?
No, we've got all the songs like down, verse, chorus, little bridges, little breaks and whatever, and he'll just rip them apart. And then I keep singing what I'm singing completely against whatever chord he's playing and we come to a compromise.
How are you in the studio these days? Do you get like anxious, excited or scared, or do you have like a massive attention to detail? What's your approach?
Oh, I love it. Love it. I mean, God, at my age, it's beautiful to be doing things that you've never done and singing in different ranges that you haven't touched before. I go really deep on the next album as well, like croony level. And that is brilliant. Because to me, seeing as I'm now sober, it's like I'm a kid in a band again. And I want to do it properly now. I didn't give a shit before. Well, you know me. I couldn't even sing half the time. I just remember playing Rocklahoma to like 10,000 people. And there was Tracy Guns, Steve Adler, ZZ Top were watching, Davey Vane, who I love, vocalist, whatever. And I couldn't sing a note because I'd been up for 36 hours. I was wrecked. So I croaked my way through a whole set just thinking, oh no, just give me one show that my voice comes back. But that's all gone. So it's all like new to me in a weird way.
That's pretty cool though, right? You're not jaded in a way. It's like a new version of yourself.
No, well, it's like people are like, don't you get like, tired of whatever? And I'm thinking, dude, I don't remember half of them. Somebody once said to me, you must have played it as well. You used to be on that tour. Oh no, you left, didn't you? Because you played with the Bullet Boys. And we went on to Budapest with LA Guns. And somebody said to me, I saw you in Budapest. And I thought, I've never been to Budapest. And you can go back now and look at the archives of concerts. And I went, oh yes, I was.
Does that scare you sometimes?
Yeah, God, that was where I was picked up by the army with machine guns in a central reservation with two very friendly girls. Yeah, there are some terrible, terrible things. And I'd lost days, I've lost years.
We first met back in 2007 on the Faster Pussycat Enough's Enough Bullet Boys European tour.
Yeah.
Gyspy Pistoleros has only been around for a couple of years at that point, I believe.
Yeah, we had, yes.
What would that Lee Pistolero say if he knew you'd still be slogging it out and working harder all those years later? What would he said to you?
Well, he'd be like, God, dude, you still alive?
I gave you 2 more years.
Yeah, you didn't make any money, did you? That's why you're still alive. I mean, we didn't care. We weren't really massively into the music. We had melodies and stuff, and we sort of, made like our sort of semi-LA Guns type stuff. it was enough. But now it's on a different level. I'm loving it. It's just like when you really sort of try and you really believe in something, though, it's like sad how people are like, it's like, you bastards.
Does that feel like a whole lifetime, different lifetime since then?
Oh, yeah, totally. It is. And it's a different world that you sort of live in when you don't drink anymore. God, now I have to listen to people, their stories for the 3rd time at festivals when I'm completely sober. It's like, I'm thinking 3rd time, but it's getting better, this story, dude. Carry on. And I can't get away from it anymon. I'm like a rabbit in the headlights. Did
you have like a rock bottom moment where you thought, right, something's got to change?
Yeah, it was like when I was on about 3 bottles of red wine a night on my own, just,
That was normal.
Yeah, and my kids sort of fanned like the bottles and they just went like, I don't want to talk to you when you're pissed. You're just a twat. not even going out. I'm just getting pissed for getting pissed sake. Why? Not really for a good time. It was like, I don't know, if I sedate myself or whatever. But I mean, the difference, what I found out, surprise, surprise, raging ADHD all my life. I mean, it doesn't mean anything really, but it's nice to have the diagnosis to know that, that's why you can attribute some of the weirdy freaking, like way your brain works, hyperfocus and, like tensions to sort of weird details and like fixations on stuff and obsessions with things going way too far and taking things past a point that, anyone should ever go. I mean, like, there were some days I woke up thinking like, geez, we're still alive, dude. That was weird. But it's a whole different world and you find different interests and you find ways. I mean, people say to me, is it difficult on tour? But no, not really. I suppose with my personality, it's all or nothing. And so that's it. I haven't touched a drop for 6 years and it's like, that was it.
Just did it on your own?
Yeah.
Right, that's it. Job done.
Yeah, totally. That was it. Nothing else. No help.
Fair play, man. Good for you.
Well, I think it has to come from you if you're going to do it. Yeah, everything else is. I mean, a bottle of cognac now, and God knows what I'll be like.
Yeah. That's why you're staying off it, because you're scared what might happen now.
Jeez, I mean, that's like, we might get loads of festivals, Laney, and loads of big support. Yeah. I mean, we did it on like the Motorhead tours. I mean, it was like, you sort of had to.
That was your initiation.
Yeah, it would have been rude. But I mean, like, it was the world back then, especially when you do with the big bands, and you've seen it, and you've played with the big bands. But dude, it just gets a little bit wearing, doesn't it? When you see some of them like now pushing 70, still doing it. And it's like, oh, mate, how do you recover now? Or do you? You know what I mean? Well, it's like Lemmy, the toxins were keeping them alive, weren't they?
There's a few people where there's an exception to the rule, and I think Lemmy is one of them.
Yes, totally.
What were your encounters with him like?
We toured with him in 1995 and 1996 when I was in a band called White Trash, and I loved him. I met him when I was very young, when I was about 17, when I first went down to London and whatever. And he was just a great guy. He was just down to earth, no bullshit. If you were boring, didn't talk to you, ignored you. But there was a funny moment because I was going out with Jane Dickinson for a bit. Remember, I'm still a nutter at this point. Sorry, the Rainbow Barn Grill. And on the Iron Maiden table, because Bruce's ex, etc. And Guns N' Roses walked in, and it was just before Use Your Illusion. And she introduced me to Slash, and he didn't look at me and sort of half shook my hand. I said, it's all right, dude. I said, you don't have to shake my hand. And he went, who are you? And I went, who the fuck are you? Cher. we had a scuffle over a table we went to. By this point, they've got all security because they're a big band. And suddenly I hear from over the other end, oi, behave, Lemmy. So we both stopped and he made us shake hands. He was brilliant. I remember once, one of the greatest compliments like you take, I mean, you've been in it, you know what it is. It's like some of the things that other people won't understand. Like I was walking to the stage with him and we were playing this massive like arena and he just went, he said, you lot, you make an acceptable racket. Which is like...
Mate, why is that not on a t-shirt?
Yeah, that was cool. There's loads of other mad stories, but like I'll tell you some other time.
Before we'd met, you'd already had quite the rock and roll journey, playing in bands since you were like 15 in the Worcester area before branching out nationwide and taking your career to US and Spain. Do you think it was always on the cards for you growing up as a teenager in the 70s to be a musician and rock and roller, whatever you want to call it?
No, I wanted to be a footballer.
Nice.
But I was a semi-nutter playing football as well. I had like this really weird attitude where I'd go off the handle at stuff and whatever.
Who was your team and what was your position?
I was right wing, left wing, or left or right side of midfield. I reached the dizzy heights of Kidminster Harriers. So I played for my hometown team and I was with Hereford United for a while and whatever. Played district county and all that sort of thing. But I was like just a nutter. I just had no brain. I couldn't cross the ball, couldn't head the ball, couldn't shoot. I could just beat people. So it was like, those little terrier dogs that just go around with the ball. It was like that. Even my own team were getting pissed off with me because it's like, dude, it's not that I don't want to pass you, but I'm going to fuck it up. So I'll just beat like 3 people. It was mayhem. But like I wanted to do that. And then like I got into punk like very early on. I was in a band the age of 19 called Cry the Innocent. And we had a band called Wild and Wandering, Love from Eden supporting us. And we were big around like, Stourbridge, and we were playing Birmingham. We supported Spirit Destiny, Big Country. But this band, Wild Wandering, became Wonder Stuff and Pop Believed Itself.
Right.
And us, the clever ones, moved to London because that was where you made it. It was like, Yeah, we fucked that one up, didn't we?
So what year was this then? Was this like early 80s, mid 80s kind of thing?
Oh, God. Yeah, this was 85. Yeah, 85. We went down to London for the first time down there. And we played the marquee as Cry of Innocent. We were supposed to have a deal with Charisma Records. Stretton Smith owned the whole thing and he was part of the marquee as well. And we packed it. We took 2 coaches down and he came up at the end. He went, yeah, just another band from up north. Then I was in a band called the Ice Babies. We did all right. Managed by Sheen. He used to be in Toto Coelho because I went out with Lacey, who was in Toto Coelho. Of I Eat Cannibals fame. We were signed to Sony and we had like a massive video done by the same guy, Simon Westwood, who did Kylie Minogue, Jason, all the Rick Astley stuff. He's become a massive film producer. Anyway, it was actually playlisted on Radio 1, Radio 2, which meant in those days you were going to have a hit. This is back 1986. And they banned it for one line, which was Sex and Drugs, Then Meet the Pretty Boys. But you can still see that. It's up on YouTube somewhere, The Ice Babies. Someday remember that video. And it's so corny. It is like ridiculous.
Where was that shot at? Do you remember?
We shot it. Oh, God, where did we shoot it at? Oh, I can't remember. We went round like Shaftesbury Avenue, the BBC clothing department to get all our stuff because we dressed in the Charles Dickensy sort of Oliver stuff. We had all like cobwebs all over everything. And the video cost 15 grand. And as soon as they pulled it from the playlist, Sony dropped us, so that was like, oh, ho hum. Then we became like our sort of rock and roll-y. And when we went out with Laws to New Church, a band called The Ice Babies, and then Kill City Dragons became White Trash UK. And it just went on from there sort of thing.
You spent some time, you actually moved to the US. It was a time when I consider, a lot of people would disagree with me, but I consider it the coolest period for hard rock, around 1990, 91.
Yeah.
That's the time when a lot of people say it was ready to die out. But I think a lot of those bands released their best albums at that point. You mentioned Guns N' Roses with Use Your Illusions. That was still massive. And the bands looked the coolest they ever would.
Yeah.
What was your time over there like? Was it everything you imagined it would be, or could you see a changing of the guard on the cards?
I couldn't, because I went over with Jane Dickinson, which means that I got introduced through all of the sort of Iron Maiden family, if you like. And we stayed in Beverly Hills. We stayed with Chris Squire from Yes, the bass player. God, we had some mental parties. He used to chase me around the house when he was drunk in a dress. But funny that you say about that, they had the listening party for Use Your Illusion. And I'd had this altercation with Slash a couple of days before. And I thought, here we go. But she was invited to be Jane Dickinson, so we went. And I get in there and someone comes up to me and goes like, would you come with us? I'm, dude, I haven't done anything yet. But I was taken up and I met Axl. And this was a listening party. And I walked into this room and there were all the TV screens all the way around. And I was watching the reactions to Use Your Illusion. They were playing it constantly. And Axl said to me, and I'm like, all right, what am I doing? And he went like, do you mind listening to the whole album?
Both albums?
Yes. And I thought, oh, fucking hell. And he went, no, I'll get you whatever you want. So we had cognac, we had Coke, and he had everything bought up. So I sat there and we listened to it. And it was all right. Like you've met loads of people, Laney, you know what it's like. People go, oh, he's a right wanker. But it's like how you catch them. And they're very different when they've just come off stage and you've done a gig or you're on a tour and you've freaked out about something or whatever. It was as good as gold. But at the end of this is funny. He said, well, hey, man, what do you think of the album? I went, you got one good album. He freaked out.
He freaked out about it?
Yeah, he was like, I knew it. I fucking knew it. So I quietly left, walking out, the house was burning down behind me.
Well, I think a lot of people think it as well.
Yeah, I looked at one Obsession and I liked some of them, but some of them I'm like, yeah. And it sounded like I hadn't been worked on some of the songs, for me.
I mean, that was just a huge event. I think the event was bigger than what was actually on the records itself.
Yeah.
I mean, especially as a kid back then. I mean, this relates to before your streaming days when you had access to everything. It's like you perhaps couldn't afford both albums. Which album are you going to go for?
Can you imagine the money they were making in those days, the record labels? I mean, what? It must have been like 30 pence a CD to press. Even less because they're doing millions. And I mean, they're selling them for like what? Tenner? That's when there was real money.
How was that whole US experience for you? Did it influence you in any way, or did you learn any specific lessons, or was you just having a good time?
I had a great time. I saw the Chili Peppers and playing in a little club. I thought they were like, whoa, what is this? LA Guns, I saw them, we knew LA Guns then. I loved LA Guns at that point. I thought they did their best stuff towards the end of there. It killed so many bands though, didn't it? The grunge thing then hits and whatever. But Americans pissed me off. It was just too in your face. You know what I mean? Hey, man, it's me. Hey, I'm so-and-so. I thought, I don't give a shit, dude. Hello, I'm so-and-so. It's not fucking one way. They give a shit, you know, who you are. And especially at the Rainbow, it was just like bizarre. Because we were sat on like the Iron Maiden table. So it was like whoever the British band was in, Priest or, you know, like Def Leppard, they'd have this table at the Rainbow. And everybody would walk around in like this little strange royal court type thing. And there was Motley Crue and Guns N' Roses table over there. And they'd all be like, who's that? I was like, what can they do for me? But I met some really cool people. I mean, like, I met like a really cool Native American called Daniel Whitefeather. And I'm going, oh yeah, that's your real name, isn't it? And he was from the Sioux tribe and he was like, son of a chief. And I'm going like, it's all bullshit. Your name's Pete so-and-so. And you're like, and he took me upstairs and he opened this chest and it was like his tribal chest. And he brought out this freaking tomahawk, a real tomahawk with a stone like blade on it. And he said, see that on there? And I went like, he said, look at the blood. And I'm like, oh, all right. Oh, he might be true. But he was a really, really good photographer. He did Billy Idol amongst others and quite a few like the big bands. And he said, whatever you do, he said, don't stay in LA ever. He said, you come and visit, you party, whatever, and get the fuck out because people just leave here in a box or they're over.
How was it for you returning to the USA like over 10 years later to become, I mean, for a while, you guys were like a real staple on that Rocklahoma festival stage.
We loved it. It's like Texas sort of like looked after us, all the people that we knew, we flew in there, you know. I don't know, it felt almost that you're imposters. God knows how we got the deal. Well, I know how we got the deal. Tracy Guns, I made him shake my hand. He said, hey, you should come over and play Rocklahoma. I said, I'd love to, Trace. And he went like, hey, you could come on and do like a song on our slot. I went, do you mean that? And I went, shake my hand. And I went, you got it on camera? All right. So we went to the promoters, went, we're coming over. I've already booked the flights. And they were like, what did you? And they went, oh, for God's sake, just have your own slot. And that's how we did it. We opened up like bloody hell early in 2007, the first one, you know, like on this massive concrete bloody, it was like a bloody airport hangar. And we went down great and it was fun and the crowd loved it. So we ended up headlining the second stage after the main act, which meant that nobody wanted to go home. They didn't want to stop partying. So we had massive crowds just walk over to our stage. And it was like, yeah, it was great. But I did feel like a bit of an imposter. I mean, we were there and we were playing to like, you know, like 10,000 people and everybody, you sign autographs and you're doing whatever. But you're thinking, dude, we ain't got a hit.
Did you feel a bit of a novelty?
Yeah, in the end. And we partied with everybody. And I didn't know this, but there was a big thing in America that the band is untouchable. And we didn't know that. So the first time we finished like our set, there's 10,000 people. I walked straight off the front of the stage into the crowd and they went absolutely mad. The security were trying to grab me back. I'm going, you all right, dude? And it was like, it was not done. You know what I mean? Obviously, you know, chances they can get like, you know, hurt and whatever, stabbed or whatever. And that didn't dawn on me until the security were on high alert. There's a guy with a gun and he wants to shoot somebody in a band. And we're like, oh, everyone's coming and going, yeah, you can have a picture. And you go, yeah. And this guy comes bundling through the crowd. And I automatically reach round, put my arm around him and get ready to pose for a picture. Meanwhile, the security have jumped on him, applauded him. He was the gunman. My vanity saved my life. The split second when he didn't pull the trigger, I'm like, all right, mate, put my arm around him, made the pose.
That version of the Pistoleros is very different to the one we see today. I mean, you're much more focused and, like you say, happily a sober performer these days. Was that something you wanted to make a point of with this version of the band? Because I believe you stepped away around 2010 to return in 2020.
I did. We'd signed to Heavy Metal Records. Never a good move. They were an awful record label and nothing came through that they'd promised. And, you know, all of the thing. And I set up a show at the St. Moritz, an album launch. We had some special guests. We had burlesque troupe and everything. And the band just rang me up and went like, oh, have you got a van then? And I was just like, oh, fuck off. That's it. So I famously got wankered and left my own band on the eve of our record launch in the St. Moritz. And it was just all online and people were waiting there for it. And it was just like, I just thought, oh man, that's it. I'm done with it. So yeah, I just gave it up for a bit, went a bit solo-y thing, which is try to play guitar, which I can't.
At least you're honest.
Yeah, acoustic. It's like after 5 chords, juggling. It was funny because I played like this solo acoustic show live on radio. I had this Gretsch, one of the lovely orange big jumbo acoustic.
Yeah.
And I tuned it next to the fucking jukebox, didn't I? It picked it up on the automatic tuner. It had gone. I came on stage. I went, down. It was like, oh, dude. So, do you want to hear some stories?
Well, speaking of stories, I mean, during that time away from the band, you added film and acting to your resume, and since built up quite the acting CV in underground horror movies, but you did your own show at the Edinburgh Fringe, a Rock and Roll Suicide, I believe it was called, which was like a storyteller kind of thing.
Yeah, it was. It had all like the Guns N' Roses, the Lemmy stories, the Ramones stories. And it's funny because when I walked away from it, I thought I was in a film. First one I was in was Spiderlings, which was a very weird LGBTQ sort of...
Is that on Trauma?
Yes, it is. And it runs for about 2.5 hours. It's weird. It's just bizarre. And I sing in it, and there's bits in that. And then I got in with North Bank, Andrew Jones, bless his soul. He was a lovely, lovely guy, lovely director and producer. And I think some of the first ones they did there were The Werewolves of the Third Reich, The Return of Robert the Doll.
Where were these all shot at?
Wales, more or less, yeah. Mostly everything was shot in Wales. And Gower around there because he had like access to this massive estate down there. So it was lovely. And we did them all down there. But the one that I love was a Jurassic Predator. That's just like ridiculous. It's like Tropic Thunder meets like Jurassic Park supposed to be, but it's ridiculous. It's just mental.
Did you naturally fall in love with this other style of entertainment away from music?
Yeah, I did. And I think then I decided sort of midway through that, I thought, like, I've got to do this properly. So I went to uni, do a drama degree. I ended up doing a master's in touring theatre, which almost taught me to, because you can't get pissed to act. You just can't. And so it was like, I think that's what I almost needed to become another person, if you like.
Nice.
And I did that. And I brought a load of more the theatrical stuff into Gypsies as well. So it was a learning sort of curve.
Like a whole reinvention of yourself.
Yeah, totally. And went to Edinburgh as part of like the same theatre, like, Uni of Worcester. And we did a whole like show there and it went down great. And then we all had our own, we were all funded. And I got Arts Council funding and I worked with Chris Thorpe, who's a brilliant dramaturgist, political, very satirical and has done some really heavy shit. Real actor. I did this one, man. It ended up, first I did Peep Show first. That was really, really weird, where I played various characters. And then I went on to do like just the Rock and Roll Suicide. And I did it with the ADHD thing as Ziggy Stardust. And it was my alter ego. And I did the masky bit and the stuff and I played. And it's so weird how life is. Because some girl came up to me at the end of, we're doing this run. I was at the zoo, Southside. And it had gone down great. In fact, the zoo said, we've put it on here, the Fringe, for years and years. Yours is the only audience where we've had all the posters stolen and we have to clear up cigarette butts and like loads of bottles afterwards. It's like when somebody said to me, came up to me and they went like, the one thing you don't do at Edinburgh for your debut show is a one-man show ever. And I went, oh, well, I've done that there. But this girl came up to me at the end of the run. She said, my cousin's got a bloody record label. He'd love your stuff. And, and you go like, yeah, really? And it was. That's how I got back into it. Golden Robot got in touch and wanted to put out the greatest hits. So it came full sort of circle then. But I love some of the acting. The trouble is, Rob, I can't. I just ad-lib it. I can't help it sometimes. There's one scene in Jurassic Predator. If anybody wants to watch it, do, because it's just stupid and it's ridiculous. It's a right laugh. There's one scene where there's just two of us left. I won't ruin the plot, but there is no plot really. It's just all over the place. And my sergeant, like head of the corps, whatever, he's explaining, like what's happened in his life and he's tearing up. And bless him, Lee Bain, this other actor, was doing a really good job. He said, what would the men think of me if they saw me like this? And I just couldn't help it. I went, can't say fucking nothing, Frank. They're all fucking dead. And the whole crew cracked up, ruined his poignant scene, and they kept it in the film.
Nice.
Yes. It was like, that was fun. And I loved it. I actually went for the Peaky Blinders, Arthur, the role, and I got through to the last 3 out of bloody thousands. Oh, mate, I walked into the last sort of audition and it was like everybody had their managers and their agents with them and 3 of them that was same little group. And it's a bit like bands, you know what I mean? If they're on the same roster, you're buggered.
Same band always gets the support slots and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So I was buggered there. I enjoyed it. I loved it. But I mean, like, I'm one of those people, if you're going to do something, I have to do it in my brain. It's like that one thing type thing. And yeah, the acting thing, I don't think I'd have gone any higher than that sort of thing. It was like, especially with ad-libbing, I couldn't.
Nothing more in the pipeline?
I've had some offers for little sort of things and whatever, but no, it's like you have to give it your all and you have to get your big agent and you have to work your way through and go through everything. And I'm like, yeah, I'd rather do rock.
But you get to do music videos.
Exactly, yes. Yes, on a bag of chips budget.
Hey, mate, they look good. They look good.
Oh, Jay Shredder does amazing things with us. It's like, have you got the storyboard, Lee? And I go, yes, I've just got it from ChatGPT.
Oh, mate, don't bring that in. You'll lose fans if people say you're messing with that.
Oh, no, I confuse it completely. I have rows with it. But no, we have like fantastical ideas and it comes down to like, how am I going to do that, Lee? So it's really like, oh yes, little bits we can use.
Working on all these kind of horror films in the past few years, was horror a favourite genre of yours?
Yeah, some of the mad ones as well. Yeah, Basket Case, absolute mental ones. I mean, you can't get much more madder than Trauma as well when we dealt into that little world a little bit.
What was some of like the first films you saw that had like a big impact on you, either at the cinema or renting from the video shop?
Oh, I love anything like Stardust. I loved David Essex, all of that sort of thing. Carrie, I loved. I thought that was fantastic. The Exorcist, obviously. Then I got into like El Topo, Jodorowsky. Have you seen any of his stuff? Oh, it's like the acid westerns. And Greaser's Palace. If you check these out, they are freaking surreal. And I got really into them. So that was my genre for a bit, like acid westerns. And they're classed as acid westerns. I loved them. And it was just like so bizarre. I love Pan's Labyrinth, anything like that. But the things that I really love, I mean, like Pulp Fiction was incredible. But I love The Godfathers. But my favourite is Once Upon a Time in America.
Right.
And then I love the spaghetti westerns, all of them. And I think Clint Eastwood is like, dude, the man. And I love all of the stuff he's done as well. And even now when he's gone a little bit weirder after, you know what I mean? The Hollywood thing was over, spaghetti western just known as, and all of his other stuff has been fantastic.
Where was your local cinema and video shop in Worcester when you were growing up?
No, I was in Kidderminster. Yeah, and it was the Odeon, which is now, well, it was the Debenhams, which then closed. Knocked down. It was a beautiful ABC cinema. Yeah, and it was great. And we used to go to ABC Miners there. And we used to watch, dude, I'll go back. I'm old. We used to go down to the Saturday mornings and it used to have Flash Gordon on.
Like, the series?
Yes. And it was like all of the mental black and white Buster Crab. That it was just money.
I bet it was packed as well, right?
Yeah, totally, utterly. It was like wonderful. I used to collect all of their badges, ABC Miners. Man, we loved it. And the weird thing was I loved that street because it was the Odeon. And then it had the Irish Club at the end, which is when we were 14 years of age. That's where we discovered music because we went in underage drinking and it became the punk centre of everything. And we saw some really good bands and some really bad bands. And that's where you go sort of, like, God, they're really bad. Dude, we can make a band. So everybody did. And there were loads of bands that just formed that way.
Was you always a singer?
Always a singer. I could play drums because our drummer had a job. So I played drums. But yeah, it's funny because in the punk band, they went, oh, fucking hell, Lee, yeah. Yeah, no, it's really good, but can you shout a bit more? You're singing too much. But my first band, that was The Regular Wretches. And we supported a band called The Buzz. And we played Wolverley High School, supported a rock band called Zest. And they wouldn't let any of the punks in and they stormed the doors. And it was all like, oh, God. We lived it. I mean, I know it was a manufactured thing by frickin' McLaren or whatever, but in the provinces, it wasn't. It was very much, this is real. And then it took off, with like other bands like The Ruts, The Exploited. They all went their own way. Discharge, GBH, and they went into their own little niches. Heavier stuff. I was not into the heavy Discharge. I was more like Gen X, Ruts, The Damned, Sham 69, that type of thing.
Where was the local, did they have clothing stores in Kidderminster where you could get your own stuff, or did you have to make it yourself?
We had to improvise and we had to go to Birmingham, the Bull Ring, there. That was where we went. And I mean, they've closed it down now. Like all the punky little things were there. And it was like, oh. But it used to be great because it used to be like a meeting place for everybody. And you even had your own little factions in punk. You had the hardcore punk. You had like, your New York Dolzy type, you know what I mean? Like your glammy punk. I was more in the glammy punk. That's how I went. And that's how I loved Lords of the New Church and went that way, with all the stuff.
Man, I love it. I love it, mate. Right. To bring things to a close,
yes.
I want you to time travel to a Friday night in Kidderminster in the late 80s or early 90s maybe, or when video was big for you, if you had a local video shop.
Yeah.
What movie soundtrack do you have on your Walkman, and what 3 tapes are you going to rent for the weekend?
Right. Movie soundtrack, I went to see it at the cinema. Got to be Purple Rain.
Nice.
Incredible. Loved it. Kept it quiet. Loved Prince.
Kept it quiet.
You're into rock? Yeah. When Dove Cries, all right, isn't it? 3 videos. Got to be El Topo because I love it. Check it out, people, if you don't know it. El Topo, acid western. Pulp Fiction, because I love it. And Once Upon a Time in America, never tire of it.
Because I missed the whole Pulp Fiction thing. I don't know why, but that was just such a landmark film for a lot of people.
Yeah. It was. I think it was Tarantino at his best before he lost it in various things. How his sort of genre and his way of filmmaking sort of came together for that perfect sort of, film, if you like. Recall and the things, and the past scenes and the things, that was just like, it was like, wow. And just this treatment of stuff was brilliant. It was just on another level, I thought.
Lee, it's been ace to speak to you, mate. Thank you ever so much.
Hey, it's been lovely talking to you, Rob.
Big shout to Lee Mark Jones of the Gyspy Pistoleros for joining me on today's podcast. Lots of fun to see him again and chat about what he and the band have been up to. Check out if he's heading to a town near you by searching their tour dates at gyspypistoleros.com. So some of you may have seen that our 80s video shop is going to be hitting the road soon. Now what does that mean? Well, we're currently building our own pop-up version of the shop, which we can take to conventions. It's all looking really exciting and can't wait for people to see it. If you know of any conventions that might be interested in hosting it, then please drop us a line. Of course, though, you can still visit the OG shop, which is just 10 minutes from junction 28 of the M1 in Alfreton, Derbyshire, when we're open on Saturdays and Sundays from 11 till 3 p.m. So check out 80s Video Shop on whatever social media you use, and we'll hopefully see you soon. But right now, that's all for this episode of the podcast. So until next time, make sure to always be kind, please rewind and unwind, and I'll speak to you all real soon.